And 3, 2, 1. Hello, 5B. I'm not there. You're with Mrs. Crooks, but I've made a video to help you go through what's coming up today and Mrs. Crooks as well. Now, first of all, you should have already had, should be Thursday for starters, and you should have already covered literacy and you should have looked at some uh, humour with Mrs. Crooks and Mrs. Lindeback. So I'm just going to move on from there because it should be about 10:30 now. Now it should be about 10:30. You should have all come back to 5B and you should collect notes, and if you haven't had the roll mark, that should be marked. And maybe Mrs. Crooks is going to pray with you or go through some times tables. Now we come to the work. You're going to get into history, and we've talked about the history already, and you're actually going to look at some of the basic details concerning some of the following events that you're going to be researching: the stolen generations, the right to vote federally in 1962, the 1967 referendum, and the Mabo decision, which you don't know about. That's fine. Here's your success criteria. Mrs. Oh, I'm just going to go through it with you guys. I want you to know that the stolen generations with children removed from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families from 1910 to 1970. I want you to know that in 1962, the government changed the laws to allow Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders the right to vote. I want you I want you to know for the 1967 referendum, Australians voted to amend the Constitution to include Aboriginal people in the census, and I want you to know that the Mabo decision, was an important legal case that recognised land rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia. So this lesson's going to be for you. It's going to be a history lesson. You're actually going to work through a series of videos that will talk about all the referendums and the Mabo decision and the stolen generations, because you're going to focus on one for your research topic. Now, I'm not going to go into each lesson in detail because that's what Mrs. Crooks is going to do, but I'm just going to give you a very brief overview. So this history lesson, this lesson you should be having from about 9:30 to 10:30 Thursday, you're going to be watching these different BTN videos and working through a when, what, wonder reflection. Now that should actually be in your Heige folder. So you're going to actually have to open up your Heige folder, your digital Heige folder, find the when, what, wonder reflection, and you're going to watch the different videos that Mrs. Crooks is going to play for you. And I'm just going to put them on the blog so they're easy to play. And you're going to reflect on each video, when it happened, what you wonder about what happened, and you're going to talk about that with the class. Now, there's 4 videos because there's 4 events, and get thinking about which one you're going to want to research. So I'm actually going to make sure they're just here on the blog. Easy access for you and Mrs. Crooks to watch. I suggest you watch them as a class, but you might want to watch them individually on your tech. But I do want you to talk about them as a class. Okay, at 10:30 recess, then at 11 o'clock's maths groups, and you guys, you've finished a lot of your position work, so you know that only some of you will be working on your maths mastery. The rest will be doing the problem solving sheets. There's 3 problem solving sheets. You can continue working on these, and I want you to be getting your answers right. And so you'll see the teacher who'll say whether it's right or wrong, and if it's wrong, you're going to have to go back and try again. Now, the 3 sheets are puzzle scrolls, magic squares, and changing coins. Because you have worked through your position, you are going quite well at position, but you all need practice at problem solving. So if you finish all those, you can actually go on with your Mathletics or Maths Online or the fancy maths site that Mrs. Hauser has made for you. I do not manga maths, by all means, enjoy that. Okay, from 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock, you're actually going to have more history. So you're going to go on with what I talked about earlier on, or you're going to go to the new stuff, which is this. Here it comes. We're actually getting into our assessment now. You're going to be making your assessment Teach Me video, but you've got to do some research first. So your learning intention. Understand how your selected event impacted upon and is relevant to human rights in Australia. And you're going to be researching your selected event one of the 4 that you've already looked at. Suggest ways in which the selected event has impacted on the human rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and creating your own. No, actually, you're going to create a group. I can create a group Teach Me video explaining and defining the impact of my event or our event on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in Australia. So you're going to be divided into groups, and Mrs. Crook's going to do that. Draw names out of a hat, going to be perfectly random. There are sites for you to check out on the class blog. You just go to History Term 4, and there are some sites you can use to research. There's some good stuff there. I've put some prompting questions in your folder. You should use them. It looks like this. There it is. That's what it looks like. It's in your folder. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you the when, what, where one. When, what, wonder one. That's one's there in your folder as well. So you should have used that before. I hope you found it. If you can't choose a topic to focus on, Mrs. Crook will choose one for you. If you do use the stolen generations, be sure you only look at the material that I provided for you. There is some pretty potentially upsetting stuff in the stolen generations, and I only want you to look at the material I have put for you on the blog. Thank you. The other material, feel free to have a look yourself if you like. Now, regarding this project, I know I said you were going to make an individual video, but you're actually not. You're going to be making a video in a group of 4. So you're going to research in a group of 4, make a video in a group of 4, and the video should be a 2-minute maximum video. 2-minute maximum. I've also given you a rubric, and that is in your folder as well, and that should explain everything you need to know about the project. So here it is. Look, this is what it looks like. There's the rubric. It's in your folder. Look at it. Use it. It will help you to get an A or a B. Right at 1 o'clock is lunch. And at 1:40 till 2:20 you come in. You're going to watch some BTN or something else that Mrs. Crook will organise for you, or Mrs. Lindeback even. And I do want you to be answering some questions that the teachers or other students will ask for you. And that should be Thursday. Learn well. Thank you, team.